When the interview email arrives, the problem is not that you are busy. The real problem is that a strange silence settles inside you. It feels like someone slightly turned down the volume of your confidence. And while staring at the screen, you suddenly become over-aware that now you will have to prove that you are good enough. And maybe you do not accept this, but in that moment, you care more about your worth than the job itself. You tell yourself it is just an interview, but your body does not treat it like just an interview. Tightness in your chest, thoughts speeding up, a subtle fear that you might freeze. All of these are signals that your nervous system is treating it like a threat. And the most uncomfortable part is this: the threat is not logical, it is personal. Because in an interview, you do not just take your CV with you, you take your identity. When they ask you, "Tell me about yourself," it is not just an introduction, it is a silent demand to justify yourself. And this is where the anxiety begins. A background dialogue starts running in your mind. What if they ask something I don't know? What if I don't sound confident? What if they sense my doubt? This fear is less about failure and more about exposure, because failure can be private. Exposure is public. And when you imagine exposure, you are not only afraid of rejection, you are afraid that the secret doubt inside you might come out. Maybe you have never openly admitted it, but somewhere inside you, there is a voice that says, "I am not as impressive as people think." An interview amplifies that voice. That is why you delay. And when you delay, you feel temporary relief, and that relief becomes addictive. Because in that moment, you feel the pressure is gone. You are safe. Today, no one will judge you. And your brain turns that relief into a reward. This is where the pattern becomes strong. Consciously, you say, "I will do it tomorrow." But subconsciously, you have protected your ego for one more day. Now think about this. If you do not attend the interview at all, you always have a safe story. That if you had gone, maybe you would have been selected. That maybe gives you comfort. Because until you are tested, your self-image does not break. And maybe your biggest fear is not rejection. Maybe your biggest fear is confirmation. Confirmation that you are not as extraordinary as you told yourself. That thought feels heavy. That is why you do not enter the situation that can test it. Your brain does not chase achievement. It avoids pain. And as long as the interview feels like a measurement of your worth, your system will keep creating logical excuses. The timing is not right, preparation is not complete, the market is slow. But if you look honestly inside yourself, you will realize that you are not avoiding the interview. You are avoiding the moment where you will be decided. And being decided is always vulnerable. Because in that moment, control is not in your hands. And losing control, especially when it involves your identity, is something the brain does not like. That is why you avoid. That is why you delay. That is why you convince yourself that the time has not come yet. But deep inside, you know it is less about timing and more about exposure. And as long as exposure feels this intense, your nervous system will keep you safe, even if the price of that safety is stagnation.